Okay, so I have a very, very funky question to ask you. Is where you're at right now where you would like to be? If you had the opportunity to get out of wherever you're at right now and go be doing the thing that maybe you've always wanted to do, would you take it? Do you think that this version of you in this present moment has what it takes to be doing exactly what you wish you could be doing right now at this very moment? What qualities did it need to have, they need to have to get to where they are right now to be doing what they're doing? If you think that the version of you now and the version of you in the future, because I'm telling you that future reality exists, what's the difference between them? Is your past self proud of where you're at now? If you had to ask them. The version of you 2 years ago, what has changed versus the version of you now? Is there a difference? I was not planning on recording a video today at all, but sometimes Source starts yelling in my head. And today, Source yelled in my head through making my heart pound like crazy, and it's still going. I feel like I'm sweating. And what's interesting is I was freezing before I started recording this video. So I put on some sweats and like I got this giant oversized sweater on and I'm like, now I'm sweating. So I don't know what's going on. But here's the thing. What I do know today as I'm recording this, today is August 20th, 2025. And yes, these videos, these raw and edited videos that I make are always going to be timeless, okay? So if it finds you and it is not August 20th, welcome, okay? This is the timeline shift, this is the quantum leap, okay? You're about to go through something massive, okay? But if you are here with me at around the same date, around the same time, whether it's a week from now, etc., eclipse season is about to commence, okay? And a Virgo new moon is about to take place, either on August 22nd or the 23rd. It depends on where you're at in the world while you're watching this. Right now as a collective, since the beginning of 2025, like literally January 11th, I believe, the North Node has shifted into Pisces and the South Node is in Virgo. Since then, as a collective, we have been challenged to release perfectionism, release rigidity around what we want our future to look like, and balance just having structure with your dream and finding a harmony in that. And what I mean by your dream, what is that thing that you're not doing yet? What is the version of you? Who is the version of you that you're not aligned with yet? There is something, I know, as you're watching this, that is not there yet in your reality. And you want it. You want it really bad. How do you get that? Because I'm telling you right now, guys, the word legacy, right? You ended up clicking on this video because of the title. The word legacy is in just some fancy big word. We are all capable of creating legacy in our life. It's just a matter of what type of legacy that you want to have and leave behind. Your legacy can be healthy mental health. Your legacy can be self-love and practicing that, embodying that, being an example of that. Your legacy can be creating generational wealth for yourself. I'm trying to give you guys different examples. Your legacy can be having a harmonious relationship or finding your soul tribe. There's a lot of different things and like learning how to get there. So I think the reason why this really wanted to come through is because a lot of us have a lot of things that we think that they're getting in the way of us going to go take charge in our life, become the authentic leader that we need to go create the legacy that we deserve and always desired. But here's the thing with that. I'm going to tell you like straight up right now, your brain, okay, like this is proof, like you can literally pull Google up right next to me to fact check. Your brain thrives on emotional memory, okay? Everything that you do up until this point, the thoughts, the choices, not the thoughts, but the choices that you have made, most of them relied and were based off of something that has happened multiple times in the past that your brain now believed is habitual, believes that it is like, it's more, like your brain is more likely to assume the things that have repeated to you in your past, right? Multiple times, that you've experienced multiple times, rather than the thing that you've least experienced. So most of the time, we are going to inherit belief systems, we are going to inherit narratives and things that were never really ours to pick up. Just because our brain thinks that it's keeping us safe, just because it thinks that, hey, this is what you need to know to survive because this is scary. When in reality, it's supposed to be the other way around. Where there is fear in your life, there is growth, there is a chance, there is a new doorway, there is choice. Choice is a big word. I'm saying it with flashing lights around it because I'm telling you right now, we all have a little child, inner child version of ourselves that always dreamt of being something when they grew up. Maybe that child version of you might have wanted something that you know isn't what you want anymore. Let's say you wanted to be a pop star. I don't know, I'm just making something up. Yes, maybe you wanted to be a pop star when you were a kid, but what are the qualities that a pop star possesses? To be able to take the stage like that, to own their energy, their personality, their appearance unapologetically. What qualities does that person, that version of you possess? Because I'm telling you right now, even if you don't want to be a pop star, hope you get the metaphor and the analogy I'm aiming at here. I'm telling you, that pop star version of you possesses a lot of qualities that maybe you don't possess right now, that your inner child would be so flipping proud to see you develop. What is a seed that you can plant for yourself so that the universe doesn't kick you in the ASS if you continue to stay in the cycle that you're at now? Because I'm telling you right now, not making a decision is making a decision. Ignoring what's in front of you, the options you have, because I'm telling you, there is a lot. If you're not seeing them yet, it's because you're closing off to it. You're afraid. You're not letting yourself see them. That's a decision you're making. The second you choose to open up to those possibilities, the second you ask yourself questions and get curious on how to get from A to B, on how to make that legacy that you've always wanted to build, that's when you'll begin planting the seeds. But sitting on it, just envisioning it, thinking about it, isn't going to do anything. There's no secret recipe to that success. It's just about starting, and it's just about sticking through it. When I started my business and my whole process here on YouTube, for example, too, business or YouTube, whatever, I was scared shitless, okay? And I doubted myself along the way multiple times, but I didn't give up. And I'm not where I want to be yet at all. But here's the thing. Throughout my journey, I have learned that having joy during the journey is a choice. Staying resilient through the journey is a choice. I'm making choices every single day, and that's on me. Choice is different than letting your brain choose for you. And most of the time, if you ended up clicking on this video because of the title maybe intrigued you, I can probably say pretty confidently that most of your life decisions and experiences were chosen by your brain and not yourself. And what I mean by that is going back to emotional memory. What are the things that you let your anxiety choose for you? Because anxiety was built by your brain. It's not who you are. It's not what your soul is. I let my fear push me forward. I let my past not define me, not engulf me, but I look back at it and I let that also push me forward. Because I go back to the moments where there was rage for not being where I wanted to be at. And even though those were moments where I was seeking a lot of freaking control and rigidity in my life, I'm at a point where I learned that surrendering is just as important as having a structure. And I learned that letting yourself just have fear, let it exist, is just as important as trying to just keep choosing joy. We're meant to sit with these circles of emotions and cycles, just like seasons move through Earth. Everything that you are experiencing up until this point has served you, has provided you lessons, has provided new traits, has developed things within you that you would not have been able to develop if you did not go through what you went through. And that is your upbringing, that is your story. That's the foundation that made you you. But are you gonna let that humbling beginning define you for the rest of your existence. Because if you continue to stay as you are moving forward, continue to not ask questions, continue to turn a blind eye at the things that are trying to show you options, what do you think is going to change? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. But I'm telling you right now, you are the one in control here. You're the one that controls your destiny. You're the one that controls your fate. You can do a bunch of pick a card readings, guys. But a lot of the time you're going to notice with readers as well, they're going to tell you when you try to ask the same question and get multiple readings on the same thing in one go, you're going to notice that there is always going to be a switch up on what the reading says, because your energy is shifting in front of you. When you're in the midst of transformation and you're trying to do a reading, the first reading is going to tell you what's up, okay? Making that clear. But if you're trying to constantly get reassurance because you're trying to tell your brain that you're safe, I'm telling you right now, the things outside of you are not going to give that to you. You have to give that to yourself. And the more self-awareness that you develop to acknowledge that fear is just a normal thing that literally lives in the deep, deep center of our brain to keep us alive. That's all it's meant to do. It's not going to tell you that there is something really, really terrible at the end of your journey. But it's going to try to, because it's trying to keep you alive. It's not fact. It's just trying to keep you alive. What would happen if you can change your script or your narrative, your definition of what fear is and how it affects you, and actually use it to create something beautiful? If you can actually use it to create the legacy that you've always wanted, what would happen? I have a blankie, okay, that I have kept with me since I was a baby. And this thing was my one and only friend at one point when I was a little girl and dealt with a lot of trauma. But I still have it because every time I try to let it go, I just can't. I need a reminder, an essence of my past to think about the little girl that wanted someone to help save her out of the hellhole that she felt like she was in. Every time I look at this blankie, I feel like I'm looking at that child version of me and I'm holding her. I'm remembering those feelings. And yeah, those weren't nice feelings, but I'm not letting them swallow me whole. I'm letting them sit and simmer within me, get reprocessed, regurgitated, digested, metabolized, to let it get used as energy and essence towards the legacy I am trying to build. I recognize now that the whole point of life is to continue to evolve, continuing to humble yourself, continuing to just move through those cycles, but you get to choose the next cycle that you want to enter and move through or begin or commence or stay in. And I'm telling you guys, this eclipse season is intense. It's going to be intense. And I think that if you're watching this and you're nowhere in 2025, I'm just telling you, there is a reason why you ended up clicking on this video. And even if it was just one or two little tiny freaking things that I said that resonated, there's a reason for that. So I need you to write whatever resonated down, look at it however many times each day you need to, create some affirmations for yourself. Remember, you're the one in control here. It's not your brain. It's not the things happening to you. They've always were happening for you to help you get to this point where it can mark a threshold in your life where you get to make that first step in a new door. Open your eyes, look around you, look what's been happening for you. Everything that you have gone through has led you to this point for a reason. If you are still watching up until this point, if you're still watching up until this point, there's a reason for that. You know that there is a call. There's something your soul is trying to speak to you for and tell you and whisper to you. Listen. This is the best time to listen. With this new moon in Virgo coming up and the South Node being in Virgo for the collective, this is your time to plant seeds. Plant seeds that are actually going to help you make your dreams a reality, that are actually going to help you become the version of yourself that you've always maybe doubted, thought was light years away from you being able to embody. You can make the decision to be that version of yourself right now, even a smidge 1% more than you were yesterday, and then continuing that. It doesn't matter about the pace. It doesn't matter if you get it done perfectly. That's the thing we're meant to release with South Node in Virgo, by the way. With this new moon in Virgo, you get an opportunity to plant seeds of saying, how about instead of trying to have everything perfect. And if it's not perfect, then I'm not meant for it and I'm a failure mentality. How about you plant the seeds of, as long as I'm trying, as long as I'm 1%, like I said, more, better, closer to my goal each and every day. The consistency, that's what matters, because the consistency is what builds empires. Rome wasn't built in a day. The world didn't evolve in a day. It evolved in millions and millions of years, and that's a really cool YouTube video. I highly recommend you guys look into that. And if you guys need a little bit more believing, maybe watch Interstellar too, because that's one of my favorite movies. But I think that's it for today. Source really just wanted to come through intensely in that moment. I normally do readings like for myself, like to see what wants to come through before I record these things, and then I do some journaling on the side. But today was a really big channel message of just like, we're meant to practice steady legacy building in our lives. Okay, let's wake up. Wake the F up. Okay, you hold your own world in your hands right now, beautiful soul. I believe in you. You're not alone on this journey. And if you feel like you are, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, because I'm telling you that everyone that is subscribed to this channel are in the same exact mindset or aiming to be in that same growth-oriented mindset, just as me, okay? So believe in yourself as much as we believe in you as a collective. And I'm sending you so much unconditional love. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.